Property is cheap. Feels awkward saying that. Maybe it's set to explode. We've got some incredible information we're going to bring to light this morning that's going to make you scratch your head. Stay tuned.
I'm the ringleader, so listen up.
Wowzers.
What do you reckon? What do you reckon? This is nuts. This is nuts.
It's the punchy headline. So Prop Track brought out some astonishing data over the weekend suggesting that the next property boom is right under your nose. Like, when's it happening? It's happening right now.
You know, it's hard to supply stuff. You can see they've really been pushing supply so hard, and it doesn't feel like there's any approvals or any reprieve on it. It feels like as building costs are still on, running on the rise, so it's harder to again bring that supply in. But what we really wanted to talk about was just to take a little bit of a helicopter view, because sometimes when you're in the bosom of the media, and you're listening to woke world, it's like, okay, well, it's all really hard, it's all really expensive, but we took a bit of a helicopter view. We wanted to show you what property prices have done over a long-term period. So over a 30, 50, 100, more so 10-year period, and then say, okay, let's overlay that onto the market today and see how that actually looks. We are talking about selling prices. We're not talking about rentals today. We are talking about residential. And we have looked at all different, we are talking about Sydney, so we've looked at all different parts of Sydney, i.e. Chatswood, Bankstown, Parramatta, Ryde, Bondi, Double Bay. We've looked across all of that, and we're going to show you what we found today. All in all, what I want to create is to see if we can see patterns together. And then from those patterns of the past, what is that pattern going to look like in the future?
Yeah, but I think this is highly relevant for pretty much the whole of the country. Have a quick look at this. Realestate.com put a great thing out on the weekend. 316 suburbs where values grew more than 10% in winter. However, there were 1,316 suburbs where they experienced some kind of growth over that 3-month period. Now, DY made the shortlist. Here we are. So DY over 3 months, median value 15%, which is crazy.
Ooh la la.
Yeah. And there's loads of suburbs you can see here. Some of the strong, the growth is incredible. At the top, they're suggesting sort of 40%. Some of them are 40%.
Where was that?
Even up to 64%. Balmoral, Queensland, Perth, Berrimah. So incredible.
That was a Barramel couple last week.
There you go. Okay, so you wanted some overlays?
Yep.
It's a little bit challenging to get it any bigger than that, so sort of just bear with us, guys. But what you're looking at there is a graph for house median value 10 years, and then in their sort of organized different colored lines from the bottom. Light blue, Bankstown. You've got Bondi, DY, Epping in those sort of reddish orange colors. Green, Chatswood. Sorry, Bondi at the top, orange. Right in there as well as a bit of yellow.
Who's green?
Can you see that okay?
Yep.
Talk us through the numbers.
Who's green?
Green is Chatswood.
Okay. Yeah. Look, the thing here is like we've got to establish a baseline, right? So generally, um, suburbs in like for our Northern Beaches area, for across to the Metro Sydney, it's been about every 10 years, it's doubled the last sort of 100 years. That's sort of a little bit of a ruler to throw across everything and a little bit of a benchmark for everything. What does that actually mean? That's 100%. So if something's done 50% over 10 years, it hasn't done double, it's half that. If something's done 150%, well, it's doubled plus 50%. So when you look at these suburbs houses, um, you can see that, Bill, what are the prices they're starting at and what are the prices they're finishing at? Are they double or where are they at?
I'll zoom in a little bit for you. So something like Bankstown was sub $1 million. Now
Yeah.
it's sort of sitting at 1.5. So I reckon it was probably 900 to 1.5.
Okay. 60%. Yep.
Then
Not
you've got
double.
something. Then you've got something like Bondi, however, where it
Yep.
started at 2 million. Now it's at 5 million.
More
Definitely
than
double.
double. Yep.
The ones that are sort of sitting in that sort of reddy, orangey colors, they are something like DY. That was starting at sort of 1.4 and getting up
Yep.
to about 2.8. So 100% double.
Double on track. So one thing that I have to mention that can skewer these numbers is supply. So if you put a shit ton of supply into a suburb, it can throw numbers out over 10 years. So for instance, if your area is like Mascot, and Mascot, for instance, has not quoting, I'm not quoting correct numbers, but just to give you an example, has 5,000 units, and then 10 years later, it's got 15,000 units. Well, it's sort of not a like for like sort of comparison. So there have to be suburbs that are, yeah, sure, they've got new properties, but they're still, it's not massively changing the face of the suburb. So can we switch to units now?
Yeah, absolutely. There you go. Units. A little bit more. There's a little bit more volatility in the units actually, which is interesting. I'll just hit the houses
Exactly what
again.
I because exactly what I just said. It's very hard to replicate land in those suburbs that we just found, but it's much easier to replicate units, and they can
Yep.
skew a little bit. But I'm talking like, like it goes from 5,000 to 15,000, or it goes from 2,000 to 3,000. Like that. That's changing the face of a suburb over 10 years. So units can do that more than houses because of land. What are the numbers here, Bill?
Yeah. So again, similar. It's funny. The similar order. No suburb has changed their ranking. Um, sorry to call
Really?
winners and losers, but Bankstown's still the blue at the bottom. Bondi is still the orange at the top. But you can see the gap has opened up a little bit more. Before we had two or three suburbs tracking at a similar number. Now everyone's finishing in their own finishing line. So numbers. I guess you're testing my eyesight here a little bit. It's a little bit blurry, but Bankstown started at about 500,000. Now
Yeah.
sitting at about 800,000.
Okay. That's 60% again.
And that could be a little bit off there. Bondi started about $1 million.
Yep.
Now it's up at about 1.5.
50%.
Yeah. Yeah. Good old DY, 800 to about a million, which seems a bit low.
10-year rolling average.
There you go.
So I think that's really important, guys. From today, the main thing we wanted to point out is that if it's freakishly high, then I think we're setting ourselves up for a bust. So if you, if over 10 years, if your suburb's done triple, I think you could be in trouble the years ahead. I think over the last 10 years, if your suburb hasn't had a lot, hasn't done your double, or if anything has done 10% or 50%, then I think you can expect some capital growth. But you must watch that supply data in your suburb, because if there's shitloads of supply coming into your suburb, i.e.,
Mm.
fractionally, it's changing your numbers a lot, then I think it's going to stunt the capital growth, and it happens more so in units than houses for that reason. So I don't like to say that it's cheap, but I think it's more affordable than what it has been, because particularly with units in most parts of Sydney, because it hasn't done that double that we've normally seen over 30, 40, 50 years, 100 years. So I still think to get in to buy now, particularly in strata, is I've seen that performing uh, less the last 10 years. I've
Mm.
seen houses perform uh, over the double the last 10 years in our area, for instance. I'm backing units. I've been saying that for probably a year and a half now, and we're seeing it play out. But I still think there's plenty of gas there.
Yeah, and well done to DY. It's performing one of the top 316 suburbs in the country for 10, more than 10% capital growth.
Phenomenal. And we have seen it. No bull.
Yeah, oh yeah, definitely. And look, where there's plenty of what's considered affordable stock, the essential stock that must be purchased, must be moved up from as well. So people moving into a 2 bedroom, selling it for a 3 bedroom when they've had a kid, it must be done. The capital growth they're achieving is really impressive. One property sold in 2023 for 985,000, just achieved 1.127 for a 2 bedroom.
885. 885.
885, sorry.
Yeah.
So for 1127 last month, south facing 2 bedroom. Incredible.
Only 18 months ago. So look, as an agent of 32 years, if they're going to lend you the money, if you can borrow the money, take the money, buy the property, rent it out.
There you go. Thank
Get
you.
in there. See you, legends. Take care.